gearing up for our third match of the day here on Grandstand at the Carvana Mesa Cup, presented by Proton. It's round of 16 women's singles action. We've got the 2-seed Kaitlyn Christian taking on the 14-seed Genie Bouchard. We teased it before the break, Thomas, but battle of former pro tennis players. Bouchard, obviously a Wimbledon semifinalist, formerly ranked in the top 5 on the WTA Tour. Kaitlyn Christian, to her credit, top 40 ranked women's doubles player on the WTA Tour. So both of these players know how to win at the professional level in tennis, and they're certainly proven they can do so in pickleball as well.
Yeah, I think it's just so cool to see the kind of talent that's flooding in. You know, with those type of resumes in professional tennis, that is very hard to do, and to see them, you know, right in front of us here playing pro pickleball now is so exciting. And it's interesting too with Kaitlyn Christian being more of a double specialist, top 40 in the world. I was just about to say, you know, as things to look for.
15 seconds.
She is much more comfortable coming to the net than Genie is. Genie is probably a little bit more of a true singles player, at least so far,
right,
in pickleball. Still getting more comfortable moving
next to her name for a reason. But
0-0.
Bouchard has had some very good wins, especially over the past few months. Had a thrilling win over Alex Trong yesterday, 12-10 in the third.
Yeah, that was crazy.
1-0.
You mentioned earlier, Thomas, Kaitlyn Christian, you know, loves getting up to the net and hitting volleys. That is her strength. You're going to see her come up to the net a lot more than Genie Bouchard.
0-1.
You can see here Kaitlyn Christian starting her service routine from very far behind the baseline. Takes a good 2 steps up to the baseline before making contact with the ball.
It's almost like a bowling serve.
Right?
I mean, we're taking several steps and trying to throw a strike here. Look at that.
That's why she does have one of the best serves in the women's game. It certainly helps in singles, especially.
And we are seeing a lot more of that. I mean,
1-1.
Hitting a deep, heavy serve, getting your body weight into it, starting just ahead in the point versus hitting a short serve and allowing your opponent to tee off on the return.
Side out.
This is the third time that Christian and Bouchard have squared off on the pickleball court.
1-2.
Christian won both of those matchups, most recently at the Masters in Palm Springs, 11-4, 11-0. So Bouchard will be looking to
side out,
turn the tide today, and if she hits shots like that, she could be able to do so.
Yeah, her passing shots have improved tremendously. I mean, a lot of areas that we're going to have, even on the doubles court, but singles-wise, she's learning to take some pace off because she hits the ball well off of both sides. But that backhand, she didn't crush it. You know, she hit, you know, just a nice smooth backhand and was dipping as it crossed the net, which is exactly what you want. Wow.
Side out.
Just to be able to track the ball with basically hitting a backhand overhead. I mean, that's not an easy shot at all.
1-3.
Not my favorite shot.
Point.
That forehand somehow made its way over the net. I don't think anyone was expecting it to.
How heavy was that ball?
I think we're going to see a lot more points like that, just with Christian being all-out attack at the kitchen line.
I mean,
Bouchard,
her court coverage is
just
Barlow-esque, dare I say.
Barlow-esque. That's how well Matthew Barlow played. We've already got adjectives in the pickleball commentary space.
He's coming, man.
3-3.
3-all here in game 1.
Clipped it up, but again, a nice little dipper passing shot off the backhand side from Bouchard.
Thank you.
And, you know, as Kaitlyn is moving forward like that with her
3-3.
wingspan, she likes the ball high, she hits hard. That's the only way to neutralize her, is just to hit those slow rollers to her feet. Wow, that lands in.
No way.
Oh,
Side out.
what a scramble by Kaitlyn Christian.
Honestly, I have no idea how that landed in.
But Bouchard is showing early that she's not afraid to move forward either. You know, I said that she'd probably stay back most of the time, but she's looking to have some early
3-3.
offense herself.
Point.
Just
Oh my gosh.
nasty combination, and we see Christian change up her serve, went more with a side spin serve instead of traditional top spin there. Certainly paid off, able to run around and hit that forehand on the
4-3.
Great finish there by Bouchard. But to your point with serving, I mean, if you're staying in the opponent's head by changing up the pace versus allowing them to get into a rhythm, if you're hitting a hard, deep serve every time, yeah, that's fine, but your opponent can adapt. So if they don't know what's coming based off, you know, pace and spin, it's a good strategy.
Point.
Christian almost gets that one too.
What a sequence there from Bouchard, and I like what we're seeing from her. She is, like you said, coming up to the kitchen pretty frequently, and it's like, you know, Christian's going to try and do that because that's just her style of play. So if you know, the way you keep Christian back is by being the aggressor first, right? Not giving her a chance to get to her comfort place at the kitchen line.
Point.
Great deep serve there by Bouchard. Yeah, but you're right. I think she's making a conscious effort to do that, knowing that Christian is, you know, aggressive and likes that. So if she's the first one to put offense out there, she has a better shot of winning this.
Point.
See on Genie's backhand, she stays so low through the entire shot. You know, a lot of players sometimes get off balance, or you pop up, you get excited, but she stays so smooth and low throughout the entire swing, especially on the backhand side.
6-4.
6-4 in favor of Bouchard.
Point.
Strong start continuing here for Genie Bouchard. Was able to change direction really well when she decided to go up the line.
7-4. Side out.
Nice touch there by Christian. Smart shot. I mean, Genie's been pretty net.
7-5. Side out.
I think Bouchard is trying to do a little bit too much with that ball. I mean, Christian did hit a nice down the line return, but she had an open court, and I think just tried to almost hit a winner versus just setting up the point.
Right.
Let.
That was a let.
Yes, there.
I saw that
If
one.
anyone was curious about the definition,
5-7.
that's a let.
Point.
There's just 3 amazing shots from Kaitlyn Christian in a row, just same spot off the forehand.
Yeah, she moves so well. It's hard for Bouchard to get it away from that forehand on the return, especially with a big heavy
6-7.
serve. Wow. Great ball striking from both women, though.
Just the way that Christian was able to stay in that rally. I don't even know how she did it. I mean, Bouchard was on the full attack, hit an amazing cross-court return, hit the volley, kind of hit the overhead a little awkwardly.
Yeah,
Maybe she lost it in the sun,
yeah, I think the sun was a bit of a factor, but still, you know, if it's
7-7.
that plastic ball's up there, it doesn't, you know, fly as true as a tennis ball, so it's hard not to second-guess overheads.
Side out.
Bouchard gets the serve back. Tied at 7. It's a race to 4 here in game 1.
just really quality play off both sides. Both players
7-7.
seem to have great rhythm. Both look confident, trying to stick to their game plans. It's just back and forth battle here.
Felt like in the
Timeout
first two
receiver,
matches
8-7.
we've had today, some of it has been, a bit of a slow start. Players are coming out of the timeout. Bouchard
Time in.
will serve with a 1-point advantage.
8-7. Point. Nine, 7.
Wow.
Point.
Somehow.
I think that caught the outside
point.
edge of the line. Very fair call from Kaitlyn Christian.
That is just incredible. And as Christian was getting ready to
10-7.
hit that return, she mentioned 6 missed returns she's had in this opening game. Very frustrated with herself.
Oh. Wow.
Point game.
Genie
Timeout
That's just
Christian.
quality
Student.
stuff.
That is just quality stuff. Thomas converts her first game point, takes the opening game far behind the baseline. She starts that service motion.
Point.
And that's the type of point Christian wants to play. Controlling with the forehand, getting up to the kitchen line as early as possible, and then finishing it from there.
Yeah, I think Bouchard needs to try to avoid, if she can,
1-0.
hitting a ball right down the middle, because Christian loves to run around that and control the point and move forward aggressively.
Point.
But it is tough, if Christian's hitting big, deep serves like that, you can't always hit the ball where you want to.
2-0. Point.
And now
Another running
Bouchard.
start almost
Right.
with a deep serve from Christian. Surprised she hasn't asked him to move that fence back a little bit. She'd probably
right.
take 2 more steps if she could.
It's like, just how far back will she serve
3-0.
from?
What are the
Do
rules here?
A little social experiment.
Ooh,
Point.
pretty good approach out there. Earned a high ball, but just kind of got away from her.
Strong start here for Christian. Some missed returns from Bouchard now.
4-0.
playing a role. I think we've seen 2 so far.
Side out. 0-4. Side out.
Bouchard just seemed to be a little bit off balance there. I don't know if it was a gust of wind, but there's really not much wind to speak of.
4-0.
Of course, now that we say that, now we kind of feel the wind.
Yeah, there's a
Basically
bit
as-
now. There was
basically
none.
as strong as
Point.
it's been throughout the whole day. And
Timeout
third
receiver,
missed return
5-0.
there from Genie Bouchard.
Share the love.
Absolutely amazing.
Share some of the talent, man.
Time in. 5-0. Side out.
I think that's what Bouchard needs to do, is just kind of fight through this lull. Singles is a game of runs, especially, and
0-5.
Kaitlyn won several points there to open game 2, but Bouchard just needs to get the ball in and just fight to find that rhythm again.
Point.
And Bouchard on the board as that backhand lands wide.
1-5.
Christian.
Point.
Missed returns, the theme of this match, Thomas, so far.
Yeah, it's becoming that way, which is interesting. It's either a missed return or a quality point. It's one of the two.
Right, exactly. There's no in between. As long as we get the first 2 shots in, we know we're in for a treat. But it's also, credit to the serves of both players as well.
2-5.
Behind every missed return, usually there's a pretty good serve on the other end of it.
And I think
Side
that
out.
both players know if you hit a short, weak return, you're almost
5-2.
guaranteed to lose a point because the other person is taking advantage of it. So they're putting extra pressure on themselves to hit a quality return, which is just inherently higher risk.
Side out.
Bouchard on the attack there, like she did really well in game 1 of finding shots to come in off of, and really approaching more to the Christian backhand, because she's less dangerous
2-5.
on that side from a passing shot perspective.
Wow.
Point.
Christian applauds that beautiful passing shot from Bouchard.
Now 3-5.
3-5. Side out.
Looks like Bouchard kind of almost maybe fell there, maybe tripped on something.
Yeah,
on
she's
the
looking
court.
at the ground. I don't know.
Seems to be okay.
Point.
That's just perfect execution from Christian. She knew what she wanted before she started that point. Deep serve in the corner, open court finish.
6-3.
Gosh, I mean,
Point.
you see there too, she's changing up her positioning,
Right.
where she's standing on her serve as well.
Sometimes
Most players
she'll-
stand in the same exact spot, but she just went out wide there to pull Genie off the court,
7-3.
open up the court for that first pass and another finish.
And again,
Point.
she goes back to that same exact spot, really deep. When she's serving on the left side, deep to the Bouchard backhand, gets a short return,
8-3.
takes full advantage off the forehand.
Wow.
Side out.
I mean, another perfect serve and third from Christian, but then Genie comes up with a perfect drop on the run.
A nice run there from Christian.
3-8.
8-3 now, or 3-8, with Bouchard serving.
Side out.
Just wide.
Eight 3.
It's
Side
interesting.
out.
Christian has been serving primarily to Bouchard's forehand. That one she went backhand, and Bouchard hit a perfect return in the corner. So I'll be curious if she continues to pick on that forehand side just to hopefully generate a weaker return.
We'll see if she changes that. We know
3-8.
Christian, as we've talked about, changes a lot on her serve throughout the match usually. That's
Side
really
out.
pretty. I think it's kind of going into more detail there on the backhand. Christian's had success serving to the backhand when she's put side spin on the ball.
8-3.
And so maybe, you know, that's keeping it out of the Bouchard strike zone on the return.
Wow, great stretch volley there from Christian. That's just athletic.
Yeah, I mean,
That's top 40 in the world doubles right
9-3.
there for you.
100%. 9-3.
Point.
Missed return
Counter.
there.
Game point.
Game point here for Christian.
Looking
She's
to,
really found her rhythm here.
10-3.
looking to send us to a third game.
Jeez.
And
Point
she
game,
does
timeout
so
change in.
Continue to recover and get back out there at some point, but
New
Couldn't
ball,
be
new
more
ball,
excited
game
to be
3,
here.
Time in.
you know, alongside with you on the
0-0.
court, man, calling the match.
Yes, sir. Love to have you out here, and there's your starting up now.
Point.
There's game one, Genie.
Heck yeah. What a shot to start us
style.
off. Goodness gracious.
Curious, Jack Sock on the break there was coaching Genie for a few minutes. Just trying to hear what he was saying, but I didn't catch it, so I'm very curious what he was talking about.
1-0.
Just
Maybe
hit more
do what
forehands
you
like
did
that.
in game one.
Yes.
Do that.
Astute analysis.
And
Point.
she has the
Yes.
first 2 points.
Right. It's like hit forehands, miss a few fewer returns.
Yeah.
And,
2-0.
Just have fun.
Just
Those are the 3 pillars of Jack Sock's coaching.
don't miss.
Side
Jack
out.
Sock will be in action a little bit later on Humana Championship Court, taking on Kwang Duong.
Gosh,
Zero.
that's going to be awesome. And Jack has really stepped up his game singles-wise. He's played so well this tournament, man.
Yeah.
I mean, his passing shots and just execution, like his errors are. Anyway, he's limited those. He's on fire.
1-2. Point.
And we see there another kind of slice serve. Bouchard tries to run around and hit a forehand, but it gets
2-2.
Christian gets the error.
Point. Time in. 3-2.
I like that decision, though, from Bouchard. The previous slice serve that Christian hit, she ran around, hit a forehand, was off balance. At that time, she stayed put, hit a backhand, and at least had a good shot at the second one, just missed it wide. You just don't want to get out of position if you don't have to.
Point.
Just a few errors from Bouchard that she wasn't making really in the first 2 games, right? These are pretty routine balls that she's missed on the last few points.
Yeah, I think it looked like she just is pressing a little bit.
5-2.
I mean, Christian has upped her level pretty significantly from game 1, so I think Bouchard almost feels like she has to play perfect.
Point. Timeout change in. 6-2.
And that
1 minute.
one
6-2, man.
just a little wide, 6-2.
Time in.
She'll
6-2.
have an opportunity to try and do those things.
Point.
But Mr. Turn not going to help the cause.
Yeah, and while that serve wasn't necessarily deep, it was still very heavy.
7-2.
A little bit out of Genie's strike zone.
Point.
Just a crisp backhand drop there from Christian.
8-2.
Continues to build her lead.
Point.
It's a big serve. And it looked like Genie was trying to come in off of that. I do like the play. You know, if somebody hits a big
9-2.
serve and you don't get a paddle on it, really, just stay back so you don't have the pressure of hitting a perfect return as you're running forward.
Side out.
Good pressure there from Bouchard.
Yeah, see that many times she wasn't trying to win the point on one shot. She built the point and took what was there. Just go for big targets right now when you're feeling a little bit off.
2-9.
Woo!
Side out.
Kaitlyn Christian finds the backhand up the line.
I mean, that's one of the few two-handed backhand passing shot winners. Maybe the first, I can't recall, from Kaitlyn Christian. It's typically been forehands, or she'll kind of cut and drop that backhand, but that was really nice.
He follows it up, of course, with missed serve.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Classic.
The ebbs and flows of playing high-level pickleball.
Side out.
Paints another line.
9-2. Point.
Just the missed returns.
Match point.
Piling up here for Bouchard, and Kaitlyn Christian 1 point away here.
10-2.
Match point.
Point game match.
Finished with a volley into the open court. Kaitlyn Christian moving on to the women's singles quarterfinals. Comes back from